up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Crush City Territory. I'm Chandler Rome, joined by Tyler Stafford. And Tyler, on July 6th, we sat down. I was in Houston. I'm in Baltimore currently. You were in your anonymous location. We sat down and we did one of these. And the title to the podcast was, "Are the Astros the best team in baseball?" That is what the YouTube front said. Is this the best team in baseball? At that point, they were 55-35. They had just gone to Dodger Stadium and completely destroyed the Dodgers for 3 days with an absolute skeleton lineup they were running out there. That was after they had swept the Phillies. That was after they had taken 2 of 3 from the Cubs. It was okay, and it was appropriate to start guessing and to start speculating as, did the Astros have the best team in baseball? Since that day, they have gone 14-22. They have stumbled from 20 games above 500 to barely now 10 games above 500. Entering play today, there are only 3 other teams that had more losses since July 7th than the Houston Astros, and those are the San Francisco Giants, the Washington Nationals, and the Tampa Bay Rays. That is company you do not want to keep as a contending team, as a team that purports itself as a contender. Rock bottom was reached this week in Detroit at Comerica Park, where the Astros just were uncompetitive for 3 days against what is the best team in the American League by record. That is the best team in the American League, the Tigers. The Astros were uncompetitive, and I'll give them somewhat of a pass for Tuesday because Tarek Skubal is a monster. He was pumping 99 in the 7th inning. He's really good. Like, no lineup in baseball was hitting him that night. You can complain about the hitting coaches. You can complain about whatever you want. No lineup in baseball was hitting Tarek Skubal on Tuesday. The days surrounding that, Monday and Wednesday, not so much. Charlie Morton is a fine human being, great guy, has turned it around after an awful first month in Baltimore, but he's still an older pitcher that knows how to pitch, but he's on the tail end of his career. Jack Flaherty had been wildly inconsistent this year before he threw 7 scoreless on the Astros. Tyler, I don't think I expect them to go in there and sweep. I don't go in with any expectations as to where, like, I look at things in a more macro sense as opposed to looking at, oh, they've got to do this in this series. They've got to show up in this series and do this in this game. I didn't expect that. That was concerning. That was sobering, and that was alarming what they just did for 27. Is it 27 innings? Yeah, 27 innings in Comerica Park in Detroit.
Thank you for ruining my night with all of your terrible stats that now I have to know. I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate you giving ammo to people of, hey, ever since we put up a podcast, here's how bad the Astros have been. I'm sure no one will use that against us. That was awful. Just awful. And it's been awful for like the last 2 weeks, basically. You know, like you said, the record has been worse over the last month and a half or so, but there have been little blips and stuff there where they've shown life. I mean, they look terrible right now. In the last calendar week, they have scored 7 runs. Just measly little artisanal runs that they're creating every once in a while. They can't do anything to make these runs. It's awful. You waste a Hunter Brown start. You know, again, it's Skubal, right? But
right, and I do want to say, I know I said Skubal was amazing. Hunter Brown was just matched.
He was very good.
He was that was a treat to watch.
Yeah, he was very good. Honestly, I mean, you hit concern level in the first inning today, watching Framber just unravel, and it was one of those Framber starts that it felt like by the second batter, you're like, uh-oh. You know, like he didn't get some calls in the first batter to have a walk. And then you have kind of that liner back up the middle that, you know, if it had been hit 2 feet to the right is a double play, but it's not. And then you had the looper go down right field, and it just feels like it's unraveling. And the Astros just don't have the like fortitude right now to handle things not going their way. And yeah, it was terrible to watch. I mean, I don't know how you can come out of that series with any confidence right now. It was rough, and it's our fault for asking the question, are the Astros the best team in baseball? That's on us. Now, for those who don't know, Chandler does write all of the headlines. So just know that he's the one that is putting that out there. I did not. That's on him. So if you're going to direct your anger at anyone, know who did it to you.
I got told today by someone on social media. I don't know. I don't have my Twitter open in front of me, so I don't know who it was. But they were okay now with me using the word squander. That the Astros squandered their 7-game AL West lead. They had to watch them.
How bad are the Mariners that they're not winning this division by 5 games right now?
I mean, it's CJ Stroud's favorite team, and I mean, CJ Stroud's used to representing teams that don't fulfill expectations, and the Mariners are right up there. Right up there with, they had. Now the Mariners have some built-in excuses here. They went on a road trip and played the Mets and the Phillies. The Phillies are red hot. The Mets, they had to go to New York, and then in the middle of that, had to go to Williamsport to go be around all the children, which that would throw me off too. Having to
let's dive into that real quick, because you had a hot take that I'd like to call you out on while we're already here in the depths of depravity. I was talking to Chandler the other day. I was like, "Oh man, you watching this Little League World Series? What are your thoughts on the Little League World Series, Chandler?"
They can play it. Like, I'm fine with them playing it. Don't put it on television.
What?
Like, it is an awful product.
Oh.
Like, if you sit down and watch the Little League World Series, like I pity you. Like, find something else to do. Like,
what else is on ESPN at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday?
They can find something better than the Little League World Series.
I don't think they can.
It is unwatchable.
Did you see that catch that one kid made in center field? That was awesome.
Cares?
I care. You see the kid throw 82?
It is unwatchable.
Monet Davis. Come on. There's been so many legends coming out of there.
If I wanted to watch athletes cry, I'd go to Texans practice. But, can't do that. So it is unwatchable. Like, again, nothing against the event, nothing like love Little League baseball. Like, grow the game, get kids involved. Don't put it on ESPN. Don't put it on TV. It is an unwatchable product.
Terrible take.
I did love that. Who was the team like 15 years ago that like had the ringer that was like actually 18 years
Danny
old?
Almonte.
Yeah, great. I want more of that. I want more scandal. I want more like forging birth certificates. I want more of that. None of this like go shake hands with the other team after the game crap. Like, just no. Like,
I mean, speaking of cheating, have the Astros considered, dusting off a buzzer somewhere or pulling out a trash can and seeing what they can do? Because I don't know that it can get much worse.
It is, yeah. I think when they play as poorly as they did these 3 games, like, it is obviously like rife for overreaction. Just like what we were just talking about. We did a podcast on July 6th that said, is this the best team in baseball? That was, we probably both knew deep down that this was not the best team in baseball. Just like as we're talking right now, we know they're not as bad as they just played. They happened to play 3 just awful games back to back to back on it wasn't a massive stage, but I mean, they were playing a rival, a team that they are fighting with for postseason positioning, a team that they are fighting with for postseason seeding, and they just fell on their face. But it's not that bad. This team is not that bad.
Correct.
They've got warts. They've got holes. They've got a lot of things to fix. But as we were talking about before we hit record, Tyler, everyone in this division does. Not division, a division certainly, but everyone in the American League does. There is no American League team that you look at and say, oh man, like that's going to be the one. That's going to be the one that's going to run through the playoffs untested. No, like the goal, and as I've said this from the beginning, the goal is to get in. And once you get in, anything can happen. Like, get in and get hot you get hot at the right time, you get guys that get clicking at the right time, anything can happen. But no, like what they just showed for 3 days and what they have shown, honestly, for the past, month, they are not playing to the capability that I think we believe that they are capable of playing.
What's wild is if they had this exact same like run 2 months ago when everyone initially got hurt, or then it's like, well, yeah, that makes sense. But it just happens like the team is better now than it was 2 months ago when they were doing better. Like there's no way to look at it other than that. I mean, obviously the results have not been there, but objectively they have better players on their team, than they did when they were just running out anybody they could find at all of these positions. And yeah, I mean, it's one of those streaks. And as you say, that's why it's so important to just get into the playoffs, because if you had faced the Astros of a month and a half ago in the playoffs, they can get hot for 2 weeks and make it to the World Series. If the Astros started the playoffs today, I wouldn't assume that they could beat a single team in baseball in a 7-game series, but it just depends on when you get hot. So the goal is to just get there and hope that you have enough people performing well at the right time to catch fire in October. And so that's why you build your team and your franchise to get there as often as possible, which the Astros are doing. Because again, even though they are terrible, they're the worst team I've ever seen, they're embarrassing, they're also a game and a half up in the division and have like a 90% chance of making the playoffs according to fan. They're as bad as they can be, and they're still in so much better shape than 20 other franchises in baseball.
Yeah, it took us till 11 minutes and 50 seconds into this to remind everyone they are in first place. Like
somehow on accident,
they are winning the division by a game and a half.
Yep.
So that means even tomorrow, if they lose to the Orioles and the Mariners beat whoever they're playing, like they will still be winning the division tomorrow. Like they are still guaranteed to be winning the division after the game tomorrow. So again, silver linings, some positivity, some things you can take solace in. I do think this has this stretch has like separated the people that started watching the Astros in 2017 as opposed to those that maybe started watching when you did. I don't remember who it was, and I don't want to put them on blast, but I saw you interacting with somebody that said, is this like the 2013 Astros? Like, no. Mm-hmm. No. You wanted the 2013 Astros. Like we can make that happen, but this is not that.
That was America's favorite ski instructor, Scott. But yes, I agree. I have seen enough of caring about Matt Dominguez and Justin Maxwell and being really upset that Brett Wallace couldn't convert his AAA stats into the major league level. Robbie Grossman, former first-round pick. I've been through a lot. This is nowhere near the level that it can get to. Again, they're still good. They're still like there are 20 to 25 other teams in baseball right now that would trade everything with the Astros in a heartbeat to be in the position that they're in, to be, with the talent that they have. It's just been a rough watch. And so, yeah, now they go play the Baltimore Orioles and we'll see what happens. But I don't want to watch any more of that. That was not fun. I don't recommend it.
Speaking of trades, the trade deadline has not aged well for the Astros recently, and we will talk about that right after this message from DraftKings.
The dog days of summer means MLB is fully heating up, and so is your shot to score big. Download the Pick 6 app for the easiest way to turn your baseball takes into actual cash. It's crazy simple. Just pick more or less on the stats for 2 or more of your favorite players, and boom, you're in the mix for big cash prizes. No gimmicks, no weird rules. And get this, all new Pick 6 customers will instantly get $50 in bonus picks on just a $5 entry. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app right now and use code FOUL. That's code FOUL. New customers play $5 and get $50 in bonus picks instantly. Ride the upside where a few bucks can turn into a bag. Only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere. everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. 8/24/25 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
So after the trade deadline, Tyler, we talked about the risk that the Astros took by not getting some pitching, and I'm not talking about getting Dylan Cease. They were obviously very down the road on Dylan Cease. It did not happen. It fell apart at the last minute. I'm talking more about just bodies, like arms. Like the Tigers traded for Charlie Morton. They gave up one prospect. And I'm not saying it was going to be Charlie Morton. I'm just saying something like that to deepen the staff, to give them some insurance in case things go haywire. And I don't know if we can say things are going haywire yet, but Spencer Arrighetti has not looked good in any of his three starts since coming back. Lance McCullers is going to pitch on Friday in Baltimore. Who in the hell knows what that's going to look like? I don't even know. Christian Javier got sick on Sunday, only went 3 innings, but has looked a lot better than I thought he would. 14 months after Tommy John surgery, has looked a lot better than I thought he would. And I think he's going to be very crucial for this thing going forward if he can keep looking like this. But the Astros pulled JP France off of his rehab assignment on Wednesday because the 30 days were up. You can only spend a maximum of 30 days on a rehab assignment if you're a pitcher. They're still trying to decide what they want to do with him. My informed speculation is that they will option him to AAA and work him out of the bullpen as kind of a swing guy, as kind of a long guy, so they can get some length in their bullpen and then call him up for that. Luis Garcia got lit up pitching for Corpus Christi on Tuesday. I don't know what to make of him. Doesn't seem like team officials know what to make of him either. He's been okay, but the delivery is new. The velocity is down. He got outs in some cases, but the fact that they keep sending him out to make rehab starts just demonstrates that they don't believe he's ready. They need to see more from him. So they're very thin pitching wise right now. We could sit here and litigate why they shouldn't they have approached the deadline the way they did till we're blue in the face. But I feel like we should talk about what they did do at the deadline. Jesus Sanchez is who they gave up the most capital to acquire. Money is money. Jim Crane is paying Carlos Correa whatever the money is for the next 3 years. They gave up Ryan Gusto, who they sorely miss. Like, this team misses Ryan Gusto very much.
Same.
We all do. He's a very nice young man. They gave up Chase Jaworski and Emil Valencia. They gave up 3 prospects for Jesus Sanchez, who they expected to hit at the top of their order against right-handed pitching, give them some balance. Obviously, when Yordan Alvarez comes back, he'll slide down in the order a little bit, but it's been tough to watch. They went to Miami right after the deadline, and he was able to kind of be around his old friends, be in familiar confines, and he played very well that series. And since they've left Miami, it has not been easy to watch at the plate. It has not been easy to watch in whatever outfield position they put him in. Left field is a new position for him, so I kind of give him a pass when he's struggling in left field. He dropped a fly ball last night in right field that very well could have cost them the game in the 9th inning and put the winning run on second base. The at-bats are uncompetitive right now. He is 3 for his past 39. He is 0 for his past 26.
You want to know what he's batting in an Astros uniform?
I'm going to guess under 100.
It's 152.
Oh, good for him.
And yeah, so that's not fun. Interestingly, watching Jesus Sanchez play the outfield makes me love Jose Altuve even more, because we talked about before the season, like, all he has to do is avoid making like Sports Center not top 10 moments in the outfield. And I think Altuve, he had the one in spring training, but I can't really remember any just like laughable mistakes that he's made in the outfield. And I feel like I watch Jesus Sanchez make one every day. So what Altuve has done is very impressive, because this man has played outfield for most of his life, and, has moments where it looks silly, and that can happen to the best of people. So that's my positive spin on what is otherwise, pretty consistent with the rest of the Astros, which is just borderline unwatchable.
Yeah, and there's people that, I mean, it's valid. It's valid to wonder, like, why is he hitting so high in the lineup? Why is he playing most days? Well, he is here to play against right-handed pitching. He has an 800 OPS against right-handed pitching. This team is so imbalanced, and part of their reason their offense struggles so much when it does struggle is because they are so right-handed that pitchers don't have to really vary how they're pitching anyone. So a pitcher can just settle in if he knows he has to go to one quadrant or go in, if he's got to just throw sinkers in on right-handed hitters and then go slider down and away. Like that puts a pitcher at ease. That puts a pitcher able to work and make it a lot easier for them. Just having a left-handed bat up top the lineup, that it changes the way other guys are pitched. It changes the way, if Sanchez is hitting fourth, it changes the way Correa is getting pitched at 3 or Walker's getting pitched at 5. Like, it is a completely different dynamic when you introduce another side of the plate in among all the right-handed hitters. So that's why it's happening. The other thing is they don't have any other options. Like everyone this whole weekend, this week, this series, everyone's clamoring for changes, do something different. Like, this is the team they have. Like, Yordan Alvarez, presuming nothing happens the next 2 or 3 days, is going to come back either late this weekend or early next week when they open the homestand. And then Jake Myers, who's not on a rehab assignment yet, I think will be on one pretty soon. He's going to come back. Those are the only 2 bullets they got left. Like, this is the team they have, and they've got to make it work with what they have. And Jesus Sanchez is a big part of that. They acquired him to be a big part of this, and it hasn't worked so far. And Tyler, it's only like logic, and it's only just kind of, it stands to reason that there's some pressing going on with him. If we're talking about him being a guy that they're counting on and that they want to do well, he obviously knows that he was a big deadline acquisition. They gave up 3 prospects for him, and that they expected him to come in here and perform and to really help. And I wonder how much of it is mental now. It's just all kind of snowballing on him. He's trying to impress a clubhouse. He's trying to impress a new set of teammates. And it's just, as of now, it's not working.
Yeah. And it's weird because, like, yes, he was quote unquote the biggest deadline acquisition, but he definitely is not the one that fans are caring about. That's not top of mind. And even if he had been the only acquisition, I don't think any rational Astros fan is like, this is it. This is what's going to turn the season. Or, like, we talked about forever, that it's just like, you just got to find like an average outfielder, preferably left-handed, and stick him out there. That's all anybody was looking for. So I don't think the pressure is to the level that it could be. It's not like the Mets acquired him or the Yankees acquired him or the Dodgers or whatever, and you're like on, ESPN every night of like, look what he's done since like, no one outside of Houston is talking about Jesus Sanchez's struggles because nobody's thinking about that. So hopefully he's able to just kind of find it. And I mean, we've only seen him for a couple of weeks now. He certainly seems like the type of guy that could run into really cold streaks, but also really hot streaks with how hard he swings and, how aggressive he can be. So, out of those swings that he takes, if 1 out of 10 of them that he's fouling off right now is ripped into the right field seats, like, he looks incredible over the last 2 weeks. Like, it's a razor thin margin for success and failure, especially the shorter time frame that you look at. But all of that to say, has not looked good, and it's very frustrating when your team isn't scoring runs, when you have these guys that do take big swings that can really like alter a game with home runs or strikeouts, when you're just like, just score a run, please. Like, just get anything. And I almost wonder if that pressure of like, try to like slow everything down and don't worry about hitting home, like, just I almost wonder if that approach is difficult for him to adjust to, because in Miami, who cares? Like the team's bad, just swing hard and hit home runs. Like that's all you have to do. And so if you're hearing a lot of like, we just got to get one run or whatever, I could see that being something that you would have to adjust to. My suggestion would just be hit dingers, big dog. Just get out there and rip it. That seems to be what you're good at. Go for it. Somebody else can do another thing that they're good at on the team. You don't have to, alter the way that you're playing based on the overall team success of the last week.
Yeah, and I wonder, this is kind of like the reverse Christian Walker, right? Like Christian Walker was so bad to start the season, but everyone around him was performing and the Astros were still winning. So like we would come on here and we would say, man, Christian Walker is not very good, like needs to pick it up, like certainly not worth the contract. But it was a back burner talking point for a while because the Astros were winning in spite of it. Now, when they're not winning, when you're watching this, I don't want to call it a free fall, but when you're watching this this slide start to happen, you start to look at, all right, well, who are the biggest offenders? And I think for Sanchez, the thing that's hurting him is it's on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Like it'd be one thing if it was just the underperformance at the plate, the looking uncompetitive at the plate, like that's one thing. But I mean, he didn't cost them the game Friday night, but or on Tuesday night, excuse me. But like the winning run stood on second base. Like they should have been out of that inning. Like it forced Brian Abreu, the guy that you have to keep healthy, to face another batter that he shouldn't have faced. And then there's been other, he's sailed the cutoff man a couple of times and let guys get extra bases, things like that. So it is kind of a holistic breakdown right now for Jesus Sanchez. And again, it's 40 at bats. So it could turn around. Like he could go crazy this weekend in Baltimore, and we could be talking on Monday about like his
7 for 12 with 3 home runs in a weekend series. Like he's suddenly hitting 250 and is like, oh, here you go. This is the guy that you trade. It's a very, very small sample size to look at. But yeah, has not looked good. I think Correa and Altuve combined to hit into about 45 double plays in Detroit. I feel like every time I looked up, one of them was hitting into a double play, which we've talked about too, is a lot of backwards logic, where if you're hitting into a lot of double plays, that's actually probably a good thing because you have guys on with less than 2 outs. So it's probably like a good sign for your offense if you are hitting to a lot of double plays. But so frustrating when your team is just not able to score, to see those chances, to quote the great Chandler Rome, squandered. You don't like seeing that.
Would you like to get uncomfortable and talk about the other half of the right field platoon?
I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll allow it.
I don't really know what they're going to do with Cam Smith. Tyler, I know you have great affinity for the young man. I know you'd like to take him to the zoo. I know you think he needs to take a nap. He has not looked like someone that belongs on a major league roster for about a month and a half now. Hasn't homered since June 28th against the Cubs. Is hitting under 200 since then, a span of about 160 plate appearances. It doesn't look good. The defense is maintained. He's still been very good in right field. You have not seen him take the bat to the outfield. You've not seen that. And that is something that is not easy for a young kid going through failure for the first time in his baseball life to do. And that should be commended.
So July 5th, Cam Smith was hitting 292 with an 801 OPS. That's really good.
Yeah.
That's a great season for a rookie who had not played minor league baseball. Since then, in 34 games, he is hitting 158 with a 433 OPS. Just cratered, honestly. I mean, you're right. It looks lost up there. 2 or 3 times a game, it feels like there's a pitch that's borderline that gets called strike 3, or it's swung through in the middle. Like it has not looked good in a while. But as we talk about with Jesus Sanchez, what do you want them to do? Like
Right.
who do you think is going to play out there that they're not already playing? Like this is the whole team. They don't even have like the scrappy veteran. They don't have like a Mauricio Dubon where it's like, yeah, this isn't the future, but this is, what you're going to get out of this guy.
Right.
You don't have anybody, like you don't have a 35-year-old bench bat that you're like, just trot him out there because at least he's going to hit 270.
You don't have a Jason Hayward.
No,
Like from I'm thinking last year, like Ben Gamble, Jason Hayward, guys that have no future with the that are not going to be on next year's Astros team, but guys that have done this before.
They have put together competitive at bats for 10 years as major leaguers, and even if they've lost the step, they know how to put at bats together. You don't have that. That does not exist, and so this is just who's going to be. What else are you going to do? The rosters expand in a week anyway, right? In September. So it's not like you send them down. Like you'd have the same issue in a week when you can just bring up whoever you want anyway. So yeah, I don't know, but it has been a rough watch. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's not like, again, if the Astros had someone in the minor leagues like a Hayward or a Gamble, or if there was someone like that available, or if they were even targeting that, then the decision would be pretty easy. That Cam probably does need to go down. And, he's not an everyday player up here anymore. Like he's platooning with Jesus Sanchez in right field. And even on days when Jesus Sanchez doesn't play, there have been days where they're both out of the lineup. So he is not he's not getting everyday at bats up here anymore. I think what the Astros have to ask themselves, or maybe more importantly, what they have to ask Cam, when they carried him on the opening day roster, they did so understanding that something like this could happen. Like they weren't stupid. Like they understood that like this kid has never played above AA. He's 22 years old. He was in college 14 months ago. Like they knew that this could turn out like this at times. But one of the reasons that they felt comfortable carrying him was because they thought the mental makeup and the aptitude and the mental toughness was off the charts. And the fact that what I started talking about this with it hasn't carried over to his defense, I think that shows that mentally, look, he's probably not happy. He's probably scuffling, and he's probably, again, he's never failed this much. So he's probably like just lost just mentally. But he's able to lock it in, and he's able to, at least compartmentalize his struggles, and he's able to go out there. So that to me, at least, without talking to Cam, without getting inside of his head, that to me suggests that he's handling it better than most kids his age, most prospects his age would be. I think where the Astros would have to do something is if that was the opposite.
Correct.
Is if they were worried about, for lack of a better word, screwing this kid up mentally for the long term.
Mm-hmm.
They think they have something different here in terms of makeup, in terms of what's between the ears. I'm not saying that means he's going to be on the roster all year. I'm not going to bore you with it. I want everybody to read it in The Athletic tomorrow. There is something with Cam Smith's service time that will make it a very interesting, difficult decision if they want to option him or not. I'm not going to bore you with it. Long story short, he has not reached a full year of Major League service time yet. And if you don't reach a full year of Major League service time in your rookie season as a PPI eligible player, you lose your PPI eligibility. So there is a thought to keep him on the active roster to get that year of service time. So if he finishes top 3 in the MVP voting, either next year or the year after, the Astros get a draft pick and he maintains his PPI eligibility. Okay, but that's beside the point. I think he's going to stay up here. I think part of it is the PPI, because that was people I have talked to said that informed some of their decision-making, putting him on the roster to begin with. And the fact that they don't have anybody else. Chas McCormick, Taylor Trammell, Jacob Melton, Shea Whitcomb's down there right now. None of them are crying for everyday at bats. None of them are showing that they deserve everyday at bats in Cam Smith's stead. So I think he'll stay up here. I think they're going to be very judicious with how they play him. They're going to try to give him some advantageous matchups, but this was always the downside in doing this, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, like you said though, despite how bad things have looked, it hasn't even shown up in like frustration at the batters, but
Right.
you're not seeing like helmets thrown or like pouting or anything like that, which is legitimately impressive for a young man who is struggling very publicly on a team that is struggling. And, you're not seeing any of that. So I think that does lend, itself to what you've talked about of like, yeah, the Astros knew that he could struggle, but they were confident that he would be able to handle it. And he has been. And I think he would be able to handle as well if he needed to be sent down because someone else was outperforming or, whatever. That just isn't the case right now. There's just there's no other options. And so you just kind of keep running him out there and seeing what happens and hoping that he can catch fire in the playoffs. Because there's nothing about Cam Smith that would not suggest that he is capable of a 2-week heater in October. He could absolutely do that. Yeah. So you keep those guys around because that's what you need in October. I mean, he is not this level of established or anything like that, but George Springer was awful for the first couple series of the 2017 playoffs. Like I remember people saying he needed to be moved down in the lineup. He was bad. He was so bad. And then he just woke up in the World Series and hit a home run every day and is a hero for the rest of his life in Houston. Like Cam Smith has the ceiling to be able to do something like that, like a season altering heater that you're not going to get, no offense, from Chas McCormick or, Taylor Trammell or those types of guys where there's not that in them. And we've seen Cam Smith be able to do that. But yeah, it's been a marathon for the last month and a half or so for sure.
The zoo.
I haven't broken out the hype chain in a while. It's gathering dust in here.
You can wear it to the zoo when the season's over. When he comes with you to the zoo, you can wear it. I think he'll like it. He needs it. He needs some joy in his life at this point. Let's hear from our friends at Foul Territory one more time before we talk about what's coming up next.
FT fans, you want to have confidence when you go out in public? Absolutely. We can't all wear a backwards hat like me, but you can get some True Classic fit shirts. It almost looks like, oh, wow, this shirt was tailored for me. Nope, it's every True Classic. This John is soft, it is smooth, and it makes you look a little jacked. I'm just saying.
And Kratz, you are jacked, and you are spot on. True Classic is the spot to go if someone's like, where do I get shirts? True Classic. The colors are fantastic. They've sold over 25 million shirts to more than 5 million customers. Their shirts just win. The feel, the tailored look, the price. We all wear True Classic on FT. I mean, Cam Maben literally can't say enough about them too. Next time we have Cam on, hit up trueclassic.com/foul. Give it a shot. Upgrade your wardrobe and save on True Classic at trueclassic.com/foul. That's trueclassic.com/FOUL.
Someone that grew up in Louisiana and you grew up in Texas, like hearing Kratz call a shirt a John.
I was about to text you that same thing.
Like, I mean, and I know people from Philly and like from that part of the country that do the same thing. Like Matt Gelb, friend of the podcast, covers the Phillies for The Athletic. When the Phillies were in town, we were going to go eat. We were going to go to dinner after the game. And he said, "What's that Pizza John you told me about?" And I was like, "What in the hell are you talking about?"
Yeah, Papa John's, man. That's the Pizza John.
That's not what he meant. But yeah, that's always kind of thrown me off. Like, why are we calling things John?
Who knows? They're weird up there. They call it PA too. My neighbors are from Philadelphia. And every time they talk about it, yeah, we're going back to PA. And I'm like, get out of here. I'm not calling it that.
I mean, one of Taylor Swift's most searing songs is called Dear John. So that is a banger. I love how when she played it on the Eras tour, she had to like literally warn the crowd. She was like, please do not go ruin John Mayer's life after I played this song. And then she
Good
played
luck.
it and she slayed. It was incredible.
I mean, and then his Half of My Heart with Taylor Swift barely featured in there. It's not a good one, but I love both. Hot take, big fan of both musicians.
Yeah, whatever.
You're not a guitar player. You can't
No, I'm not.
appreciate.
I'm sure
Mayer.
John Mayer's extremely talented.
John Mayer shreds. He is one of our best living guitar players. He is unbelievable.
He messed up with Taylor Swift. That's a tough pill for him to swallow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's shining like fireworks all over this sad, empty town. What has happened in the last like we've talked about, like they are better than they are playing. Like this is a better team than how they have played in the last 2 weeks. Is there anything that has happened in the last 2.5 to 3.5 weeks where it's really gotten bad that concerns you long term? That is like this is going to be the downfall if they either don't make the playoffs or it's a short playoff stay.
Yeah, Josh Hader.
Yeah.
Does that count?
I mean, no. Okay. Yes, that sucks. Like that's a terrible blow.
Well, that's one that you just look at and you're like, that can change a series quickly, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. What do you want from me? Ask your question better, journalist.
Like it's what on the field has happened.
Mm-hmm.
What is like for me? I have a couple of things. I think one, like Framber Valdez has got.
Framber is the correct answer. Yes,
he has got to be better
than
he was in these past 4 starts. And today was an unmitigated disaster. Like I'm not going to sit here and try to sugarcoat it, but I think Framber gets. Maybe I listen to too many people. Maybe I listen to too many uninformed people. But like Framber gets to me a bad rap for like the minute he allows like 2 runs, everyone's like, oh. Framber's a head case again, like off the rails, doesn't know what he's doing. And then you look up and he's gone 6 innings and allowed 3 runs. You're like, all right, that's perfectly acceptable. Like that, like, yeah. Can he get frazzled sometimes? Sure. Can he look like he's nearing a meltdown? Sure. But most of the time he's able to rein it in, and it's 6 1/3 innings of 2-run ball or 6 2/3 of 3-run ball. Today was obviously unacceptable. Like you can't, if you purport yourself as an ace, if you want to make $200 million next year, if you're a stopper, then you don't go out there and give up 6 runs in the first inning. And
the game was over before he got an out today.
Right. The problem has been in the last 4 starts, his curveball has just disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
He got 1 swing and miss on his curveball today to the point where he stopped throwing it. Like he was throwing
and it was left up and outside to righties too, which I've never seen Framber do. But the few called strikes that he got were those like big looping ones that were landing on the lower outside corner to righties, and he's normally trying to hit their back foot with his curveball, and he just has not looked good at all. I think Framber falls into a similar category of fan disgust as Ryan Presley, where he doesn't get outs the way that are necessarily aesthetically pleasing or ones that seem repeatable, even though they are. Because again, today, Framber, I mean, the whole disaster happened from a borderline walk, right? And then a liner back up the middle, a blooper down the right field line, and then a bunch of balls that are hit, but no home runs. There's nothing like, it's nothing like that. It's just he gives up contact. That's what he does. And sometimes that can unravel really quickly. And when you don't have your out pitch, your curveball to just shut a lineup down and go like, I'm hunkering down for the next, 10 pitches here, and I'm just going to like try to destroy the other team. When you're not able to do that, you're up to the whims of where is this ball going to go when they eventually make contact. Hopefully it's to the shortstop and not 10 feet to the left, which happens sometimes. And so I think that's where a lot of the unraveling comes from. Now, some of it is warranted. There have been, the comments about positioning and stuff. And even though I think those were like completely reasonable thoughts to have, They were not ones that you should say in a post-game press conference to these little nerds taking notes and writing stories about them. Embarrassing. But, you know, those are the types of things where I think it can come back and bite him more. But the great thing about Framber is every time he goes out, he has the ability to go 8 innings and give up 1 hit and strike out 12. And there's 10 guys on the planet that you can say that about. And that's why Framber is going to get a bunch of money next year, regardless of 4 bad starts in a row. You know, you just look at his career numbers and what he's able to do over the long term. You're going to take that risk. But I think the last month has probably made it a little easier for some Astros fans to say, all right, I guess this guy's not coming back. Best of luck elsewhere.
I mean,
I disagree with that, but
if they didn't know that before this, then they were not paying attention. But
you should see the people tweeting at me.
Yeah, it's so that to me is they've got to get that. They are not going anywhere if Framber Valdez keeps pitching like this. Like we saw Hunter Brown had his, and look, you are allowed to have blips. Like Hunter Brown had his blip already. Wasn't it right? He had 2 bad starts right before the break, and then like his first start after the break wasn't good. Like he had a 3-start stretch where he wasn't good. Framber Valdez has now had a 4-start stretch where he has not been good. Like you are allowed to have these. Like the only guys in the world that don't have bad start stretches like this are like Verlander when has a sub-2 ERA, or like even Garrett Crochet, who's gonna maybe finish first or second in the Cy Young voting. Like the Astros gave him a bad start like a month ago or like 2 weeks ago. Like it's okay to have a bad start every now and then, but Framber has got to get it corrected. I think it starts with the curveball, because when he doesn't have that, he's very reliant on the sinker, and the sinker's a great pitch, but it generates contact, and it generates contact on the ground. And when you put balls in play, weird blank happens. It can just happen. Like sometimes they hit ground balls right to where guys are positioned. Sometimes they have eyes and go different places. Like just happens. So to me, that's the quickest like fix. That's the thing where like if Framber comes out in his next outing, and conveniently it will be against the Colorado Rockies, who if you need a get right game, pitch against the Colorado Rockies. He needs to come. If he comes out then and it's back to old Framber, then you're like, okay, like you can settle down a little bit and you can start to see a path. But if Framber pitches like he did this past month, then it's not going to go well. And that's probably the biggest long-term concern that I have seen from this stretch. Because and you can disagree with me if you want, Tyler, I think they're going to hit. I think they
do too. It's weird how bad the lineup has looked, because if you had just taken this lineup 3 months ago, I would have been ecstatic. Like the team looks better. It's weird that they're not hitting, but and then hopefully you get Jordan back in a couple of days. We'll see here, but I feel like Baltimore is always the get right spot for him with his 700-foot home run he hit off a position player there.
Well, who he hit he hit one off a position player. It was a 3-homer game. He hit one off the starter. He hit one off a position player. Do you know who he hit it in the middle off of?
No.
Taylor Scott.
Okay.
Taylor Scott will not be in Baltimore with the Astros.
No, unfortunately.
He will not.
No.
But yeah, he hit that off Taylor Scott. I think he went on to Utah Street, actually. You would think Baltimore would be a get right, but they're out of nowhere playing very well. They're like 43-33 since they fired Brandon Hyde. The city is abuzz with whoever Dylan Beavers is, and then Samuel Basayo, who is the best prospect in their system, debuted the last day in Houston. This is going to be the first time that they've played at Camden Yards, so I imagine it'll be a pretty electric atmosphere for a team that is playing for nothing. And this is a team that just completely worked you for 2 of the 3 games you just played at Dyken Park. So, and they're facing, do you know who they're facing tomorrow night? Can you name him? Can you name him yet?
No.
Brandon Young.
Oh yeah, no, I would not have been able to name it. If you had given me 100 guesses of pitchers on the Orioles, I would not have remembered Brandon Young. Oh,
Brandon
yeah.
Young. I'm gonna go out on a limb.
I don't think he's repeating that performance.
I don't think he'll retire the first 20 in a row. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think so, but I've been known to be wrong before. We did think that the Astros were the best team in baseball. So.
We didn't say that. We asked the question. We are journalists. We are here to facilitate a conversation. If anyone is mad, it was Chandler's idea. He wrote it on YouTube.
If you need some retail therapy, shop crushcityterritoryshop.com. We do have hats now.
Yeah.
Hats are in, as are beanies. We have, if you're into that,
Q-zips,
quarter zips. Everyone got really, no one knew it. When I tweeted it, I said, you can dress like your favorite AGM. Assistant general manager for that. All they do is like graduate from Yale and wear quarter zips. If you want to dress like one of those dudes, we have quarter zips available for you. I got my coffee mug in today before I left. So can't wait to use that.
My stuff's coming in Friday.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
If you want to be cool like us, go to crushcityterritoryshop.com and shop to your heart's content. As always, you can rate and review us on Apple. You can leave comments on the Spotify episode. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel, Crush City Territory, so you can get notified every time we post a new podcast. We'll be back actually pretty quick. We'll be back tomorrow with Josh Reddick to answer some mailbag questions. I had a mailbag that's going to run Thursday morning on The Athletic. I got so many questions that I couldn't answer. We're going to answer some of them on the podcast. So it'll be a mailbag. It'll be a lot of, hopefully answering a lot of questions that you guys have. Again, we appreciate all the listening, all the outreach of support and all the outpouring of support since we launched. As always, if you want to follow me on X, you can at Chandler_Room. You can follow Tyler at Tyler C. Stafford. We will talk to you guys soon.
Bye.